first and one of my least favorite things in behavior analysis are what I call self-important jargon slingers. And your self-important jargon slinger is somebody who uses words like Byzantine, Daedalian, Gordian, discursive, and recondite, okay? I had to look all those things up because I don't know any of those words. But they essentially mean overly complicated and difficult to understand. Okay? At least that's what thesaurus.com said. They try to come out and look really important and really, really smart in these circumstances to say, look how much I know. Look at the big words I can use that you don't understand. And that doesn't help anybody, except for maybe their ego, which is probably out of check anyway. So you're going to look for the other side of things too, where they're overly using all of these acronyms. All these acronyms right now, these are all real behavior analytic acronyms that BCBAs will throw around to each other. And they're super confusing, especially top of the second column there, DRA, okay? Consistent with one of the reading assessments. And that's typically what people in schools think of. And it's like the cornerstone of everything we do for reinforcement and reward in behavior analysis. So if I go in spouting off about DRAs, but I don't define them and help you understand what I'm talking about, it's not going to be effective. It's not communication at that point. So those people that are going in there and using those big words and trying to, I don't know, it's almost like, it's very condescending when they're coming in there talking like that. And it really bothers me. Now, on the sunny side, with behavior analysts, I think it's okay to use some of our technical language, and some of it's unavoidable, like talking about reinforcement systems. I can call them reward systems, but typically I'll use them interchangeably, or I'll define the language. If I'm going to say differential reinforcement, I'm going to say what that means. Differential reinforcement is reinforcing or rewarding one behavior and not another. That's all that means. So if you're going to use the language, you have to define it for everybody in the context of when you're using it. The number one thing that bothers me about plan writing is what I call the copy-paste plan. Brendan continues to have difficulty with her behavior in the classroom. She will, and it just goes on. It's where you use and I'm all about gender equality and names being for anybody, but a lot of times I can tell that Brendan's not a girl. Okay, because they'll say, we have a 3-year-old boy that you're here to do an assessment on. With these plans, they just use the find and replace option on a previous plan and slap the kid's name in there, and then it applies to the new kid. And it's one of the worst things that you can possibly ever do. It means that you've got a lazy behavior analyst, but it's not their fault, about their learning history, right? So you've got an unethical one, because that's super unethical to just take somebody else's information that you derived from an assessment and then apply it to somebody else. It's likely not going to be effective. So you're ineffective, unethical, and lazy. Congratulations, that's a trifecta of terrible. Now, if you're on the sunny side of things, you're going to look for specifics about the individual in the behavior plan. So especially in the reinforcement systems, you're going to know if this is a copy-paste plan because it's very, very specific. Don't just look at the background information in the beginning of an assessment. Look towards the actual intervention plan. Are we using reinforcers or preferred items or rewards that are consistent with this student? Or are we using things that, you know, it says like every time that he looks frustrated, tell him to use his words. All right, my kid uses PECs. And it's not even mentioned in here that that's his mode of communication. It's very clearly not for him if he doesn't use vocal speech to communicate, and we are saying to use vocal speech in the plan. All right, very clearly bad plan. Another thing with plan writing and assessment, bad functions. Okay, this is something that a surprising number of behavior analysts are not educated on, and it is that all problem behaviors are not controlled by the same function or reason that they're engaging in problem behavior. What I will see in these plans is all behavior maintained by attention. And they've got like 4 different ways that the behavior looks. Maybe they're disruptive, they're aggressive, they're self-injurious, and yet we're just saying that everything's maintained by the same function. That might be true. All the behaviors might have the same function, but you need to split them out and define them differently. So if you have aggression and disruption and self-injury, you need to split them out, define each one of them, and then say in the report, self-injury is maintained by, or the function of self-injury is access to attention. Thursday of this week, I went out to a school, and they were having difficulty with this one individual, and we had some of our people out there, our behavior techs working with the student, and since they've been working with him, everything's been going well, but they said, come on, take a look at this program, take a look at this plan. I said, sure. And I go out there, and the behavior analyst meets me, and she's like, I don't know what's going on with the plan, but like, it's a pretty good plan, and she hands me the plan. The plan is a literal 10 pages long, a 10-page behavior plan. Now, if you hand me a 10-page packet of instructions on how to work with anything, okay? IKEA is fine because at least they give you pictures, okay? Not just words on every page. If you hand me a packet of instructions that is 10 pages long, there is absolutely zero chance that I'm going to be able to follow those directions. There's no way. It's just not going to happen. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that plan. I'm never going to read it. I'm going to go, I can't do this. This is what every other single person in this room is going to do when they look at a plan like that. They're going to say, this is a giant joke.